What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to another reaction to Week 9 of college football. A crazy, chaotic day. Not a ton of, chaos overall, but a lot of storylines. Some teams being eliminated from the college football playoffs. Some teams just looking terrible, and some teams dominating and kind of not making school history, but doing some things that they haven't done in quite some time. So, a lot of games to get to, but I want to start in Death Valley. In a game that was oddly similar to Alabama of last year for LSU, Texas A&M goes on the road and wins the second half 35-7. 49-25 victory for the Aggies, who are sitting at 8-0 for the first time since 1992. Texas A&M is a blast. Their offense is incredible. It's not just Marcel. It's weapons all around them. They made first half mistakes. They had some problems in the first half, but that doesn't matter. They came back, bounced back, and had an incredible second half that you can't ask much more of. I've always been a huge fan of, if you've listened for a while, I'm always the biggest fan of just teams that can go through adversity and bounce back quick. Not even just bouncing back the next week. I mean in the same game. And so when you go down at the half, what was it, 18? Yeah, 18-14 at half after a scoreless second quarter, and you bounce back and react the way that you did, that is amazing. So now, on the other side of things, number 20 LSU, who will now be unranked when this new ranking comes out, now it gets interesting. Brian Kelly, there were Fire Kelly chants late in this one. The crowd was gone. So if you're curious, his buyout is in the mid 50 millions. It's a lot of money. But the reason it's a topic right now is Brian Kelly is now 5-11 in ranked games. That's awful. At LSU, of course. No, I need to preface that. But that's terrible. The last three coaches at LSU had won a national championship by year 4. That's the expectation at LSU. They're not expecting a national championship every single year, but 2-3 in the SEC and sitting at an eliminated spot where you're not making the playoff. Now that it's been here 2 years, I think I could feel pretty confident speaking for LSU fans in the fact that they would say, we do expect to make that. You should be top 12 at least once in every couple of years. It should not be this bad right now, and it's terrible. So it's dark times, and A&M is rolling. Those boys are rolling, man. This game, I mean, they're sitting at 8-0. They control everything from here. I mean, the season is in their hands. If 8-4 Aggie comes out, I'd be stunned because they'd have to drop 4 straight, and that would be 4. That would be Missouri, South Carolina, Samford, and Texas. It would be quite the collapse, to say the least. Moving on from that one, we'll go another SEC game. This is not going to be chronological order, by the way. Obviously, starting out with a night game. But Ole Miss and Oklahoma. Massive, massive, massive win for Ole Miss. They, got a little go for it happy. They had some silly plays, silly mistakes, and going for it at times when they probably shouldn't have. But for Lane Kiffin, this is his first road win versus a ranked opponent at Ole Miss. So big win for them. But this game, it was obviously, the defense for Ole Miss was impressive. Until the big-time Robinson run, it was 70 yards. Oklahoma couldn't move the ball running-wise. And then Satania had the big play early. If you take away the 2 shots, obviously they count. They go into the game. But, that's 2 massive plays that if you stop them on those drives, this ends up being a blowout. So, big-time win. But for Ole Miss, they're looking at South Carolina, the Citadel, Florida, all at home, and then at Mississippi State to end it. They're going to go undefeated. You need to go 3-1 in those games. They're going to do that. They're chilling right now. Lane Kiffin, you could see how just ecstatic he was. That man was happy. But honestly, John Mateer, he continues to look better each week coming off the injury. And this one he was 17 for 31 and a touchdown. he looked fine. I thought I was impressed with Ole Miss's defense. I know they gave up 26 points, so it's hard to say, but yeah, I thought it was impressive. I thought this was a game between two really good teams. Now, one team is going and playing somewhat of an easy schedule from this point on, and then the other team is playing an absolute gauntlet. So, however you want to look at that, I think it's just two really, really good teams, two teams that are in the top of the SEC, but Oklahoma could end up dang near unranked by the time this is all said and done. Ole Miss is going to be chilling in the playoff, I would say, at the absolute least. Going to Big 12 real quick, we'll go BYU, big-time win on the road. This one's similar to Texas A&M. Big mistakes early, struggled in the first half, and then in the second half they played well. Iowa State gave them all that they could handle. They're now 8-0. So I think this is a team that has somehow been quiet, but Bear Bachmeier, good heavens, man. This guy, freshman, he does not get enough hype. 22 of 35, 307, 2 touchdowns, no picks, 12 carries, 49 yards, and a touchdown. Absolute gamer. This kid is special. Special. And let me get the two receivers. I want to say Parker Kingston was one of them, I believe. Parker Kingston, 133 and 2 touchdowns for him, and then Chase Roberts, 128 on 8 catches for him. So, big-time games out of those two receivers in a game where they needed it, and they end up pulling away and winning, you could say, comfortable. Another week, another Texas overtime game. Texas goes on the road and somehow, against all odds, wins this game. Poor Mississippi State. They have now lost 16 straight SEC games. They haven't won in 2 seasons. It's unbelievable. They haven't won since the Arnett era, which is wild to think about. Mississippi State, I went to the ESPN thing just to see what it ended up looking like. So Mississippi State was up 17 in the fourth. With 11:40 left, they had a 98.6% chance of winning. And they end up losing that game. Texas, they're going to lose some games. I mean, obviously, you can't go to Kentucky and Mississippi State and win a couple of overtime games and feel super great about yourself. They still play Vanderbilt, Georgia, Arkansas, Texas A&M. I could see them lose literally every single one of those. Like, there's a legit shot. Now, Sark shut down the rumors, but I don't know what's going on in Texas. I don't know if he's actually going to consider an NFL job. I don't know what's going on. But they're looking 6-6 down the barrel. I know they should probably beat Arkansas, but that's 7-5. It's a scary time. But it's so funny to me, though, now that we've gotten to this point, Texas, at the start of the year, it was more of like elite defense, very, very good defense. They're not a ton of weapons. We kind of knew that, but the weapons were a little worse than we thought. Offense is very, very limited on what they can do. Not a great offensive line, all these different things. And the offense is going to not be good, but the defense will keep them in them. And now it's just flipped. They just gave up 38 points in regulation to Mississippi State. And I know Mississippi State's pretty good, but really the offense is just clicking for him. And Wingo, this man had a good game, 184 yards for him. But Arch played pretty well. He went to the medical tent, though. I'm not sure if he'll be playing next week. They might go with Matthew Caldwell. But, he went to the medical tent in overtime. But, yeah, Wingo was good. Mosley had the touchdown late. I mean, they end up in the fourth quarter in overtime. They win 31-7 in those. So, crazy game. But I feel so bad for Mississippi State. Like, I am a Kentucky fan, so I felt bad for us, but, like, Mississippi State, this is back-to-back weeks blowing games, and I don't know if it's Levy's fault. I don't really know what the whole situation is looking like, but I feel bad. They deserve some of these wins. I mean, they have being up 17 going into the fourth is just like a brutal way to lose a game anyways, and it sucks. I feel bad for these guys, but going G5 real quick because this game was very, very important. South Florida and Memphis. I expected South Florida to kind of roll in a way. I think I picked like 38-24, like a couple touchdowns. No, that's not the case. Memphis strikes back late, wins the fourth 17-0, and ends up bouncing back from a bad UAB loss and makes the American Conference, who will probably end up being the Group of 5 team in the playoff. They make that conference much, much, much more interesting as Memphis, South Florida, Navy, North Texas, Tulane, they're all still alive for that conference. And I think that I'd be shocked if it's not the American champ that ends up making the college football playoff as the G5 rep. But these boys, big time win for Silverfield. Like I said, it shakes up the conference like crazy. That's really the only way to put it. It was quite the ball game. And like I said, they struck back late. It was not looking like Belt, but it was looking like USF was going to get a comfortable win. But no, Byron Brown played well, and but now they're both at 3-1 in the American now, and they'll both have tough ones. South Florida will still play. I believe they'll still play Navy. Yeah, they play at Navy, so that one will be a tough one. They've already handled North Texas, so that one's not going to be much of a worry. But and then if you're Memphis, they still play Tulane and Navy. So we'll get to learn a lot, and we'll get to see how these teams match up against each other. But that one just shakes things up big time. Like when I saw they were lining it up for that field goal, I was like, man, this is significant. They're sitting here with a chance to win this game, and they end up sinking the field goal and winning that one. So big time win for the Memphis Tigers. Going Big 12 again, which is just the goofiest conference because like we knew in the preseason, this conference is going to be a mess. And it is. Cincinnati, 41-20 victory over Baylor, who's sitting at 4-4 now. I was wrong, but I did say in the preseason I'd put Baylor in my playoff, but I said I should just put the Big 12 logo because this is going to be like one of the Big 12 teams. I thought Utah was going to win the conference, but I thought there'd be a second Big 12 team. I think there will be two get in. It's going to be interesting now, though, because there's like Cincinnati, there's Texas Tech, there's Utah still in the mix. BYU, obviously, like all these teams are still right there. And yeah, Cincinnati's sitting at 7-1 right now. Brendan Sorsby is awesome. That's really the big takeaway. He's a blast. And if you haven't really watched a whole lot of him, you need to go check it out. But Cincinnati just kind of has a mix of whatever they need offensively to win these games. They pulled away late, but I kept up with this game the entire time. There was never a moment where I was like, this Baylor's going to win. They went up like 14-0 early, and just kind of never looked back. He had 85 rushing. Speaking on Sorsby, he had 85 rushing and 111 passing with 3 total touchdowns. Dude's electric. He is absolutely electric. Going Big 10 real quick, Indiana, just thumps UCLA. The 0-4 start, 3-0 since the new Heisel and Skipper era. Great things must come to an end. Indiana does unthinkable things. Aiden Fisher gets the pick early in that game. On the first drive, Nico drops back, throws a pick six, and that was the closest it ever was. It was 35-3 at half, and it could have got a lot worse. But yeah, both the Mendoza brothers I think ended up scoring. I turned it off late. Yeah, Fernando and Alberto, they both ended up doing their thing. So Indiana continues to roll, and they're, obviously very, very good. They're number 2 in the country, but it's obviously for good reason. They have probably the most impressive win. Maybe you could argue Alabama at Georgia, maybe A&M at Notre Dame, but winning at Oregon is not easy. I know Oregon didn't look great today, which I'll talk about in a minute, but that win is unbelievable, and they continue to just impress. So it's going to be Indiana, Ohio State, unless some crazy things happen, but I can't wait for that Big Ten championship. Going back SEC, Alabama goes on the road. It looks like dog crap for the first little bit, not going to lie. They just need to play elite teams. Alabama plays at South Carolina, who's now 3-5, 1-5 in the SEC, and they look like just horrible for the most of it. Alabama was down 8 with 2:46 left, 22-14. Alabama scores, gets the 2-point conversion, all that. But my problem is South Carolina should have gone for 2 instead of kick the extra point, which is a situation you don't really have yourself in much. So I know coaches are dealing with a billion things at once, but I thought at least somebody would think of that. They are up 15-14, score the touchdown to go up 21-14. If you go for 2 there and you get it to 23-14, you're up 2 scores, that game's over. But here we are, and obviously they're on the other side of things, and they end up losing this game. But Lenore Sellers was all right. He, wasn't too bad, but they the offense was just terrible for Alabama. Like, the offense just took way, way, way too long. There was the pick early, but then there wasn't an offensive point scored until like 2 minutes left in the first half. So taking way too long. You've got to be able to assert yourself. I mean, you look at what Oklahoma did there last week at South Carolina. Just not a good performance. Not a good performance. But, they've gone through an absolute gauntlet, and, Kalen DeBoer talked about that, where he's happy that they're getting a little break now where they don't have to just play absolute incredible teams. But, they've gone through the gauntlet, and they succeeded through all of it. So it's hard to, put some blame on them after they just went through what they went through. But, you still want to see a little bit more out of a team like that. Going back Big Ten, this one really shocked me. I thought Washington would definitely win, but I thought Illinois would at least hang in there. I mean, they had the curved font. The helmets look beautiful, but Washington rolls. They're sitting at 6-2. They should be ranked. Washington should be ranked. I know that's been a talking point the last little bit, but their trio continues to impress. I mean, they scored 42 today. Damon has 4 touchdowns. Jonah Coleman has a touchdown. Denzel Boston has a touchdown. That trio is just unbelievable. They're just really, really good. I mean, the only thing that's kind of weird to me is I don't know what their deal is with. Maybe it's just going on the road in general, because at Maryland they only scored 24. At Michigan they scored 7, which I know Michigan's good defense, but you should score more than that. At Washington State they scored 59. I don't know, but I just want to see more from their offense against more elite teams. But now, they're playing at Wisconsin, which who knows? I don't. This sport is completely unpredictable, so I don't even know if you can really just chalk that as a win. But they'll be they play at Wisconsin, Purdue, UCLA, and Oregon. If they can win 3, if they can go 3-1 in that, you're talking about a 9-3 team, bro. They can beat Oregon. I don't know. Dan Lanning hasn't necessarily had the best record against Washington in his time at Oregon, so I don't know. But Washington's a lot of fun. That trio right there. Denzel Boston, he's the type of dude that pops up in my mind as if you're talking fantasy dynasty leagues, draft him higher than most people would. I think NFL guys aren't going to really know who he is because he's out of Washington. There's all this Carnell Tate hype. There's different receivers that are getting more hype. Denzel Boston's going to be a good receiver in the NFL. That's what I feel like. So I think it's going to be fun to follow him for a little bit. We'll do Oregon, Wisconsin. This one, I referenced it where Wisconsin just for no reason looks okay in this. They did it last year too. I think it was dang near the same score. Let me confirm. But they win 21-7, and last year is 16-13, so it was much closer. But it was just weird. It was a really, really weird game. But I want to talk about the uniforms though. The Grateful Dead, Grateful Ducks is what they called them, but I know nothing about them other than the fact that they are a band, but I thought the uniforms were awesome. I hated that they looked like they just took an old jersey and then threw new numbers on them, because they've worn that jersey multiple times, that black with the steel and wings or whatever. But I thought the tie-dye was awesome. And then the little thing on the back of the helmet with the Grateful Ducks, that was sick. I thought it was the perfect amount of tie-dye, though. I thought they didn't overdo it. I thought it was just beautiful. And, but yeah, a win's a win at this point. They get through it, and, you get the win, and that's really all that matters. It was just hard to watch. It was one that I had in a quad box, and I was like, dude, this is foul. But, big time win. We'll go Houston and Arizona State. Houston is sitting here with Connor Wegman, who continues to impress. He has 201 and a passing touchdown, rushes for 111 and 2 rushing touchdowns. Goes 7 for 22 from the field. He's just impressive. He's been balling. Big time win over Arizona State. The thing now is just Arizona State makes absolutely no sense. I don't understand what they are, who they are. They have really, really bad losses, and then they obviously they'll have good wins. I don't know what they are. They'll upset somebody, and then the next week they'll look like they're the worst team in America, and I don't really know how you even judge them either way. Like they're so back and forth. I know tonight they didn't have Jordan Tyson, but even without him, I would say you should probably be hanging in there a little bit closer. I feel like Houston kind of controlled this game, but yeah, big win for Houston. Houston's also a team in the Big 12. I've mentioned a few different teams, but they're going to be one that's kind of just sneaking around this whole time, which they're sitting here. I think they're still unranked. Like they should be ranked this week, but yeah, they're 7-1, 4-1 in the Big 12. It's impressive stuff. Moving to the Big 10 again, Iowa is all the way back. Gradowski only had 135 yards, but absolute dominance. They're 6-2, 4-1 now, but they won 41-3 versus Minnesota. And this is, Minnesota. Any PJ Fleck team, I feel like if you beat them like 41-3, that's an impressive win. They host Oregon in 2 weeks. If they win that one, they're like legitimate playoff type contender, I think. I think they'll probably be ranked after this week. And they'll have a really legit shot when they play Oregon. But they'll play Oregon at USC, Michigan State, and then at Nebraska. And they already have on their resume, it's a loss, but they played Indiana close. I think it ended up being 5 points because Mendoza took the safety that cut it from 7-5. But impressive stuff. I know they have the 2 losses early, but here they are, quietly going on, and they just absolutely dominate. So, the offense wasn't like incredible by any means, but they just dominated. It was an impressive win. The battle for Paul Bunyan Trophy. Michigan State. Michigan State hung in there. They made Michigan, earn this game, but Justice Haynes was just a little bit too much for the Spartans. 26 carries, 152 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And, they ran all over them, but Michigan State's just so weird because they're 3-5, 0-5 in the Big Ten, but they're much better in my head than what they actually are. So I don't really know how to even judge that team, but, if you're Michigan, anytime you can win a trophy, which is every game in the Big Ten, it seems like, but, win a trophy game. Yeah, they do it in East Lansing, and, it was a good win for the Wolverines. And, if they just keep winning, it's going to get so funny. Like, they're going to have a matchup with Ohio State late in the year, and they're going to be sitting there with a number by them, and Ohio State's going to crap their pants, and it's going to be goofy. But Michigan continues to win. They're sitting at 6-2, 4-1 in the Big Ten now. Yeah, just impressive stuff. Another Big Ten game. Nebraska. I just wanted to reference this game. Nebraska beats Northwestern. Northwestern is legit good. They're 5-3. But there's 2 things. Nebraska, the Nebraska of old, loses this game 1 billion% of the time. They have the turnover, and they would lose this back in the day. But Nebraska is now bowl eligible for the first time in October since 2016. 6-2 right now. Nebraska's going bowling. It felt like for years they couldn't get over the hump to go bowling, but here they are. And Nebraska scores late off of the turnover, and good bounce back win after getting kind of clobbered last week. So, it was a fun game though. I thought Northwestern was actually going to have a shot there at the end and maybe pull something out. A game where I thought the coach was going to be fired at like halftime. Auburn and Arkansas. Arkansas, they are literally in every single game. Like they could play the freaking Colts tomorrow and they'd be in it. But they're not going to win it. They're just not going to. They'll put up points, Taylor Green will turn it over, and they'll lose the game. That's how all these games go. But Jackson Arnold benched, Ashton Daniels comes in. Auburn went up 10, I think it was 10-0 early, and then 21 straight, and then it's 21 to I think 13 and a half. I think it was just 21, 10 and a half, but they end up making the change from Jackson Arnold to Ashton Daniels, the Stanford transfer, and the ball actually moves. They looked much better offensively. Like the ball wasn't just stuck the whole time. It felt like Ashton Daniels went 6 for 8, 77 yards, ran for 35. Also, Yeah, Cam Coleman had like one of the craziest catches today. I mean, yeah, he only had 27 yards. He left with the injury, which honestly not doing my job. I needed to see how he was doing, but because he left that game, and then I don't think I ever had the sound back on that one, so I don't really know how that man is doing. So prayers for him, but yeah, crazy catch. But they switched to Ashton Daniels. They moved the ball pretty well, and we'll see. I'm assuming they'll ride it out with Ashton Daniels going forward, because I mean that would just make the most sense. But going with another SEC game. My Kentucky Wildcats versus Tennessee. This one I just wanted to mention because, honestly, I mean, it's a praise because of what their team did. Joey Aguilar went 20 for 26, 396, and 3 touchdowns. And then they had 3 receivers with over 100 yards. And 2 of them, Mike Matthews and Chris Brazel, had a touchdown each. So, 56 to 34, I think the over-under was like in the 50s. Like, I would have thought this was going to be an under type of game, but Brad White's defense is just never going to cut it against Tennessee. I don't know what it is that we just can't cover them at all. But this game is really just interesting because with every Kentucky loss, the Stoops firing gets more and more likely. The buyout is like $37 million around there, 37 to 38 million, and it's due within 30 days. And it's not a great time for it because of giving NIL money to basketball. It's not a great time for it because they're trying to do some similar to what Tennessee, ironically, is doing in between the Food City Arena or whatever they call it now and Neyland. They're putting like a little entertainment district type thing there. They're wanting to do that around Kroger Field. It's just a rough time for it, but you got to do what you got to do. And I think Mitch will be gone soon. I think they'll lean towards maybe firing him. I don't know if it's going to be during the season. I don't really understand the point of doing it during the season because I would prefer like an announcement of saying like, all right, this is Stoops last year, because I would go to the Louisville game probably, and I mean we'll probably lose it, but just to go see Stoops last game. Like I think it'd be smarter to do it that way. You still get ahead of the game with talking to coaches, talking to agents, whatever. So I think that would probably be the best thing. But the biggest takeaway from this game and the Texas game. Keep Cutter in Lexington, whatever it costs. Cutter Boley is amazing. 26 for 35, 330, and 5 touchdowns. I mean, if you're not, I would imagine if you're tuning into this and you're not a Kentucky fan, you don't really have an idea of how bad our offense has been. I think it's like, that was the first time I think in the Bush Hamden era, which is our offensive coordinator. I think it was the first time in his era that we scored more than 2 offensive touchdowns, I think, in an SEC game since he became the OC. Or maybe it's 2 or more. It's like some crazy stat. But, yeah, it was impressive. Cutter is amazing. Keep that man in Lex no matter who the coach is. I think that is a very, very key thing that we do need to make sure happens. Let's see. Another game I need to mention, Virginia versus North Carolina. I mean, Virginia's defense isn't even that good, and North Carolina still put up only 16. North Carolina goes for it in the first overtime when they could have just kicked the extra point, gone to extras, gone to the second overtime, but they go for 2, don't get it, so Virginia wins 17-16, which keeps them undefeated in the ACC play. They're 4-0 now. But North Carolina's defense is impressive. Like this Virginia team can move the ball, do some good things with it. So North Carolina, the defense, impressive and good stuff out of them. They sit there and compete, and maybe they'll get their first ACC win soon. Louisville beats Boston College, but really it was Isaac Brown, 14 carries, 205, and a touchdown for him. So Louisville just continues to roll, 6-1. They're sitting here kind of not behind the scenes for me because I live in the state, but it's a good win. You keep moving on. Last year I think it was they beat Clemson, lost to Stanford the next week. Now they have the big win versus Miami. They don't have the letdown the next week. That's the really important part for them. Wake Forest beats SMU, gives SMU their first ACC loss. 13-12, hits a walk-off field goal. And I mean, they're really freaking good. Wake Forest is. I mean, they're 5-2, should be 6-1. Nearly beat Georgia Tech, and they have the walk-off, and it was just super, super exciting. Kansas State in the Sunflower Showdown wins again. I think this is like 17 straight. Yeah, 17th straight. It's just clockwork. I mean, I don't understand it. I know Kansas State started to figure out a little bit, so it's not like Kansas fumbled the bag or anything, but they just continue to beat them literally every single year. Every single time they play, they win. Kansas State wins every single time. Moving on to a top 15 game, Vanderbilt and Missouri. This game got interesting, but it was funny how it got interesting. Matt Zollers, freshman. So Bo Prabula goes out. Prayers for him. That looked really, really bad, his injury. So prayers for him. Sam Horn is out, obviously, from game one. Matt Zollers comes in, true freshman, and keeps them in it. 14 for 23, 138 and a touchdown. And he gets it to where it's tied. And they end up, Vandy ends up scoring late and wins 17-10. But, yeah, it was just a great game overall. It was very, very low scoring. I thought there'd be a little more scoring in it. But Vanderbilt continues to roll, and they're so good. Vanderbilt is literally so good. And Pavia just continues to do his thing. Lastly, I'll mention Georgia Tech, 41-16 victory. They are now 8-0 for the first time since 1966. So shout out to them. And it looks like the Yellow Jackets are just going to be undefeated going into the Georgia game. They have at NC State, at Boston College also, so 2 road games. But Pitt is interesting, but it's at Georgia Tech, so it's not going to be too bad. But since Heitchel went in for Pitt, the new quarterback, freshman, they've been good. But it looks like they'll be going 11-0 heading into clean old-fashioned hate. So they'll be playing Georgia. It's in Atlanta too. It's claimed as neutral site, but I'm pretty sure it's in the bins. So that one will get interesting. They're going to be 2 playoff teams and 2 teams right there sitting at the top of the sport. So that one's going to be awesome. I think that'll do it for this episode, though. I went through most of the games. Oh, all right, Miami. I just need to talk about the uniforms for a minute. Mark Fletcher played really good. The uniforms were horrendous. The idea of them was cool when they put out the pictures of them. I was like, oh, those are sick. They just blended in with the field. Like, they looked awful. And, I mean, they ended up dominating the second half, but they were trailing Stanford for, like, the entire first quarter. So, they end up winning, but bad uniforms. Don't bring those back. Texas Tech rolls. This one got interesting because, they brought in Griffiths. So now it's the 3rd string. Mitch Griffiths. Will Hammond goes out. And Griffiths comes in and plays well. But for Texas Tech, it's just you were one of the best teams in the country starting to get hype, and then injuries just derail everything that you had planned. Let's see if there's any more. Rutgers Purdue, they played, and Rutgers won. Can't say I watched a second of this one. 27-24 win. Purdue still hasn't won a Big Ten game in a minute as well. They're sitting there with Mississippi State and not winning one for a while. Other than that, Washington State, honestly, big one over Toledo. Washington State is sneaky, like really good. They're 4-4, but these boys, I mean, they hang in there, dude. They lost to North Texas. They lost to Washington. Those weren't very close. But then they play 2 road games at Ole Miss and at Virginia where they lose by a combined 5 points in those 2 games. Like they're gonna end up going like maybe 8-4. I mean they'll play at Oregon State. They play Oregon State twice, which is just goofy. Poor Pac-12. But Louisiana Tech and then at James Madison will be tough, obviously. But they're feisty, dude. They just hang around and play with teams. Other than that, I did just get done watching not too long ago the Colorado and Utah game. The freshman QB Ficklin for Utah, he might just be the difference. They won 53-7 in a game that was literally never close. It was like 17-0 at the end of the first quarter. Colorado still just doesn't really know what they are, I think. But Ficklin, 10 for 22, 140, 2 touchdowns. And then he ran for 151 and a touchdown. And Wayshawn Parker ran for 145 and a touchdown. They ran all over. They ran for 422. The rushing difference in this game was 422 to 38. That's unbelievable. The Utes are sitting 6-2. Kind of control their own thing. If they can just win out from this point, they're going to be right there fighting to get into the playoff. But yeah, they play Cincinnati, at Baylor, Kansas State, and then at Kansas to round it off. So not going to be easy, but they can do it. And yeah, absolutely clobber Colorado. But I think that'll do it for this episode. Nothing really college basketball today. I know Yaxel played good. I think Michigan and St. John's went to overtime. I didn't get to watch it. I wish I could have, but it was in the Garden. Went to overtime, I think, and Yaxel had like 25, 10, and 8. It was, I mean, he balled out again. He's going to be one of the best players in the country. And y'all call me crazy on TikTok for putting him number 1 as the best returner in college basketball. Just saying. I mean, I think he's going to be top 3 at the worst. I mean, some people called me crazy for having him just even high at all, but also, shout out to the TikTok. If you don't follow it, go follow the Jump Sports on TikTok. Go follow all the socials. It's much appreciated. I post a lot on like everything. It's the Jump Sports on everything. It's the Jump Sports _ on Instagram if you're trying to find that. But I know there was a lot of people that tuned into the college basketball like exhibitions kind of recap thing, which the exhibitions delivered. Those were a blast. So if you are new, thank you very much for tuning in. I appreciate it a lot. Likes and comments go a long way. You have no idea. Subscribe if you haven't yet. I love, college football, college basketball. Love this stuff. So to, kind of continue to motivate to get as much out as possible, likes and comments and all that are greatly appreciated. And just, comment on anything. Comment any video idea, anything, any like question or anything that you would just wonder my thoughts on it all. Which I don't know why you would. I'm just an absolute goofball that loves college sports. But yeah, this stuff's just fun. Like one of the comments on the college basketball episode said like college basketball is just the best sport in the world. I think both of them are. They're both completely unpredictable. College basketball, I feel like we'll know a little bit more, but the fact that like Penn State's sitting here looking horrendous in college football and Clemson's gonna not even sniff the ACC championship, that's what makes these sports awesome. Like I was completely wrong on so many teams, but that's what we're here for. Like you have to enjoy these things, let them play out. That's what it's all about. It's been a blast so far. More content coming out soon. College basketball's about to be back. I'll do a preview type thing next week where I'll kind of do my preseason awards and talk a little bit about the conferences. I probably won't talk every team, but we'll get into it. And yeah, we're in the best time of the year where it's both, and also coach. So it's high school basketball season. I coach. I'm an assistant with a high school, so it's a fun time of the year. I'm not really a Halloween guy. If you are, you could call me an idiot and tell me it's the best holiday. I don't really like Halloween a whole lot, but best time of the year for sports. So we got the World Series going on. That's always in the background. Good stuff. Great time of the year. That'll do it for this one. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure to follow the socials, all the good stuff. Like, comment, subscribe. It's all greatly appreciated. Peace.